Welcome everybody to our webinar on cause-related marketing. This is Greg Anderson. Shortly, you will be hearing from Steve Anderson, and I've got a few things myself to say about Smiles for Life, and then Blake Hadley from My Social Practice is going to give us all of the information on all of the things that they have cooked up for this year's Smiles for Life campaign. Just a couple of things for those of you who are participating in Smiles for Life before we start. The campaign begins tomorrow. For all of you who got your whitening order forms back to us by the February 12th initial ordering deadline, you should be seeing your whitening kits, if you don't already have them, today or tomorrow. For those of you who missed that initial deadline, we submitted those the following Friday, and we will continue to submit whitening request forms to Ultradent every Friday morning, which means we need to get them from you on Thursday of every week, so they go in on Friday, and then it will take about 10 days for the whitening material to come to your office. We will say a few other things about that before we get to the end of the webinar today, but the enthusiasm, as you'll hear from Blake, is very high for the campaign, and we congratulate you both for your enthusiasm and for your hard work and for your generosity.
Hello.
We have a bunch of great things that you'll be seeing through your email. We've just posted a few new Mentor of the Month recordings, which you are now seeing weekly Mentor of the Month on something that is called the Mentor of the Month. And we hope you're enjoying those digitally. And if you're not seeing them, drop me a line and I'll be sure that you're getting those links. Also, for those of you who may not have seen it, we have announced the 2019 Crown Council annual event coming up in Las Vegas in February of 2019. We have the largest group ever for pre-signups for that event, and we look forward to having the largest group ever of Crown Council members assemble in Las Vegas, and you can get to that information by going to ccannualevent.com. And so with that, let's get this kicked off. Steve, if you want to get us started, and we appreciate you being here and talking to us about the secrets of attracting new patients with cause-related marketing.
Hello.
You're there.
Mr. Steve.
Steve? Mr. Steve, we can't hear you, Mr. Steve. Steve has gone into a dark hole. Steve, we cannot hear you if you are talking. Stu, would you call Steve on his cell phone? And in the meantime, I'm going to go through and I'm going to go through my part of the presentation, and then we'll get to Steve, if that's all right with you. Let's talk about Smiles for Life for just a minute while Stuart's getting to Steve. The Smiles for Life campaign is ready to go. We have a smilesforlife.org website, and the image you see on your screen right now is smilesforlife.org. And the two things that we wanted to show you are this new website that has just been created by My Social Practice has two things on it. One, on the right-hand side, if you are not yet signed up for Smiles for Life and would like to, you can click on the sign up form there, and it will sign you up for Smiles for Life. On the left-hand side is for the general public to find a participating dentist. one of the things that we want you to know about Smiles for Life is that we have created a very extensive way in which you can electronically submit deposits. Now, you're all familiar with your charitable contribution form that came in your marketing box. And if this is the best way for you to send contributions in, that's fine. You'll notice that there is a plus in green down on the bottom, though, that gives you some new instructions. And if you'll notice on the smilesforlife.org page, when you have a patient in your practice and they have completed their Smiles for Life whitening, you in the practice can click on the donate button and take the donation right while you're there in the office. It takes you to a form that looks like this, the Smiles for Life contribution form, and you in the office can fill out this form. So I've filled one out, Greg Anderson at 1234 Smiles Lane. You'll notice that I've put in a contribution of $250. And then down at the bottom of this form, we have preloaded into this form the name of every practice that is participating in Smiles for Life. So you can go to the drop-down menu, fill in the name of your practice, and when you hit the submit button down there on the bottom, the payment summary will come up, and then automatically an email comes both to the patient so that the patient gets a receipt. And in this case, I've selected Dr. Alan Acton as the dentist. And we get the same thing here in our office, which gives us the opportunity to give you the credit for this contribution without having that hard copy receipt. If you do choose to go this route, which we hope you will, the advantage to all of us is that you know right there at your office that the credit card has been approved. If the credit card is not approved, it will tell you. You also have the opportunity to, when you go in to do payments, to do ACH payments. So you can take a check or you can do that. I'll tell you why that helps us. About 5% of the credit cards or checks we get are bad. And so when we run them here a week or two after you've had them in your office, then we have to send that back to you. You've got to call the patient. You got to chase down the patient, get a new credit card or get a new check. And some of those become uncollectible. If you're doing it right at your office, we have a great opportunity to collect them right there. The other thing that you ought to be all signed in on is the Smiles for Life group at crowncouncil.org. So if you go to crowncouncil.org, I've got a big red arrow there. If you click on the groups sign, you will be able to see down there on the right-hand side another red arrow, the Smiles for Life group. And if you click on that and subscribe to it, you will receive all of the notifications that come through this group for Smiles for Life. So on that page, you have access to all of the social media, on the right-hand side there, all of the graphics, the opalescence information, all of the Smiles for Life logos. If you have a charity that wants the Smiles for Life IRS 501c3 determination letter is there. The press releases are there. If you've lost your whitening materials request form, it's there. All the marketing materials on this page are there for you to use. One thing that we might suggest to you, if you are new to digital marketing or you want the greatest update on what is happening in the digital world on how to represent yourselves in the digital space, we would highly recommend that you take the time to go to the Digital Dental Marketing Conference that is coming up the end of April. This is a conference that is co-sponsored by the Total Patient Service Institute and the Crown Council and My Social Practice. And we have a tremendous group of speakers who are the best in their field at digital marketing and how to implement it in your practice. It's down and dirty on exactly what you need to do and how to create a marketing plan that gives you the digital feel. And it's something we hope all of you would go to. The Crown Council has a special discount for Crown Council members. And if you go to dentalmarketingconference.com and register and put in the code CC150, it will give you a $150 discount so that 2 attendees can come to the meeting for $847. We've tried to keep this very reasonable, and we hope that this is something that you'd consider coming to. So that is a quick run through. Steve, I understand that you have audio, and if you want to take the screen back, we will.
Apologies.
No worry. Do you want me to give you the screen, or can you get it? You're there.
I just grabbed it, whether you like it or not. Good. We're so thank you, and Greg, thanks for the details on Smiles for Life. I wanted to give some context for everybody in terms of the overall big picture and how Smiles for Life is an example of a greater category of what we call cause-related marketing that you can incorporate in a lot of different areas, not just with Smiles for Life, but in general to create new patients for your practice. So I haven't met very many practices that did not want new patients. I'm out in dentistry almost every week. Occasionally I will ask a group if there's anyone who cannot accept any more new patients. Every once in a while I have a practice that is so slammed, it's like, no more new patients. But that's rare. Everybody wants more new patients. And it seems like everybody's looking for the silver bullet, the one answer that's going to solve all of their new patient problems. And the reality of it is that there are a lot of different channels for new patients, and it's not just one one activity or one thing that's going to solve the new patient flow, but a number of things working in harmony that piggyback off on each other and work together. So cause-related marketing is one of the many aspects of marketing the practice and creating new patients. It's one of many things, and it's an important part. Here's one of the cornerstones of it. Lest anyone be deceived, word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing in dentistry. In the latest study on the topic, it's 81% of Americans who were surveyed said that given the opportunity, if they had a choice, they prefer to choose their dentist based on the recommendation of a family member or close friend. So that's 81% prefer to choose their dentist based on word of mouth. Now, word of mouth can take a lot of different forms. One form of word of mouth is online reviews. That's an extension, that's the digital version of verbal word of mouth. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. And it is still the most powerful form of marketing in dentistry. What powers word of mouth, obviously, is a great experience in the practice. Patients don't talk about the practice unless it's a great experience. So one of the aspects of that, of creating a great experience, again, is this whole idea of cause-related marketing. Again, it's one aspect of many. And so let me give you some definition on that. There is a term that's crept into our cultural vernacular, that of giving back. And a lot of businesses refer to their efforts, their charitable efforts, as giving back. In the Crown Council, we have chosen to eliminate that term of giving back for this reason. That giving back implies that you took something. In other words, you can't give something back if you never took it in the first place, which implies some level of guilt or idea that we have to feel bad about making a profit, and which that is that's what makes everything work. And so in the Crown Council, we don't give back. We refer to our efforts in this area as doing good. And there's a lot of things that you do in your practice, in your business, in your life that do good, that some are charitable, some make a profit, and they still do good for your community and for your patients. So one of the exercises that I'm going to challenge you to do as a team is to sit down and make a list of all the things that you do in your practice to do good. Whether they're charitable or not, it doesn't matter. But something as routine that you do every day is you improve the lives of the patients you serve, which then, by virtue of that, improves the health in your community. You improve quality of life. You help people that otherwise would not be helped. You're educating individuals in the community how to take better care of their oral health, which in turn improves their overall health. You're doing projects like Smiles for Life or humanitarian projects, or maybe you do some charity dentistry. You provide jobs in the community. There's a lot of things that you do good, and so that's one of my challenges I'm going to give you, maybe in a team meeting coming up, is to just do an open brainstorm and make a list of everything you do to do good. Whether or not it's charitable, that's not the point. There's a ton that you do to do good, and cause-related marketing is one. One of the interesting statistics around this from a marketing standpoint is this. This was done by Roper Starch Worldwide, which is a survey organization, and they found that 67% of consumers say that they prefer to buy from a business that is engaged in cause-related marketing. In other words, all things being relatively equal, if the quality of the service is perceived as being relatively similar, they will choose to do business with a business that is engaged in some type of cause-related marketing. Little background on the term. Cause-related marketing was coined in the 1980s by American Express. And American Express launched a campaign in the 80s to restore the Statue of Liberty. And so they made an announcement to the American public and to their cardholders that for a period of time, anytime an American Express cardholder used their card for any transaction, large or small, that they would donate 1 cent to the project to restore the Statue of Liberty. That campaign that they did for a relatively short period of time raised $1.7 million. So do the math on that in terms of the number of transactions that took to raise nearly $2 million to restore the Statue of Liberty. But that's the first time of record that we know that term of cause-related marketing has been used. In another survey on the similar topic found that 9 out of 10 consumers say that some type of cause-related marketing activity that you're engaged in your business will significantly impact consumer response. In other words, consumers are attracted to businesses that are engaged in cause-related marketing. Here's some examples. Target, if you walk into almost any Target in the United States, they'll have a sign in the entryway that basically says that 5% of profits are donated to your local school to improve education and build the education in your local community. If you've ever purchased anything that has Paul Newman's brand on it, on every label, they have something similar to this one that just says all profits after taxes go to charity. Starbucks often does different charitable campaigns. If you're a big Starbucks fan or customer, you're familiar with the Red Cup campaign, where on a specific day of the year they donate, make a significant donation to AIDS research and prevention and cure based on sales for that day. Everybody's familiar with Tom's Shoes. Their entire strategy for their company is based on a cause-related concept of, for every pair purchased, a pair is donated. One of the most successful cause-related campaigns has been done by Dove when they did their entire Real Beauty campaign and increased their sales by almost 30% by doing this whole awareness campaign. And then, of course, Walmart and their affiliation with the Children's Miracle Network. These are just a handful of examples in the consumer world of cause-related marketing. So Greg's talked about Smiles for Life. We have engaged in the Smiles for Life campaign now for over 20 years. It is, to our knowledge, the most successful cause-related marketing campaign in dentistry, having raised over $40 million for children's charities around the world, and a significant new patient generator. And one of the things that I'm going to address after Blake gets done with, Blake Hadley is going to share some of the new tools this year that have been developed by My Social Practice to market the Smiles for Life campaign to your patients as well as to your community. I'm going to finish up by talking about what you can do internally to convert patients that come in for Smiles for Life into long-term patients. So one of the initial ideas when Dr. Jeff Gray, who is the father of the Smiles for Life campaign, thought this up years ago, was that this would be a way to get involved in the community in a different way on the back of a significant, worthy cause, and get new patients engaged in your practice. So I hope you'll listen to that. Occasionally I'll hear a practice that will say, well, we've done Smiles for Life for a number of years and we whitened all of our patients' teeth, which is great. I'm glad you got your existing patients engaged. One of the real initiatives here is to push this out into the community and get patients who are not current patients of record involved in your practice and coming in to get their teeth whitened for the campaign, so that then you have another opportunity there for a new patient. So we'll talk about specifically how to do that here in just a minute. So with that, I'm going to turn the screen and the time over to Blake Hadley from My Social Practice, who is going to walk through some of the tools that have been developed for this year's Smiles for Life campaign. Blake, it is all yours.
All right. Thank you, Greg and Steve, for having me. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I've said it many times, but we are very grateful for being able to be a part of the Smiles for Life campaign each year. I think this is our 10th year or so, being kind of the marketing arm for the Smiles for Life and coming up with the ideas, the marketing ideas for all the practices. And so it's a great privilege for us to be part of this. So like Steve mentioned, I'm just going to run through this year's campaign of what we've come up with and some of the materials and strategies that we have for you. Just to show you a little bit of behind the scenes, this is what we call our think tank at My Social Practice, and they're the creative minds behind this year's campaign. We have copywriters and graphic designers and creative thinkers that come up with all the ideas for each year's campaign. We have a lot of fun in the think tank. They also come up with all the social media ideas to push out to our clients. And so we always try to stay on the leading edge of what's going on in the marketing world, and especially in social media and the digital marketing world. So first, I'm going to show you the new print materials. Most of you, hopefully all of you that are participating in Smiles for Life have received your campaign box. If you haven't, be sure to contact Greg so we can get that sent out to you. This year we designed this really fun box to get you excited about this year's campaign. That turned out really great. All the materials you've probably gone through. In the box, we have instruction sheets and everything for you to really understand how to use all the materials, where to put the posters, where to put the table tents, how to use the different social signs and materials. So hopefully it all should be explained inside of the box. Here are the new posters that we've designed. One of the posters that I want to point out specifically is this challenge poster. In the past, the way that we've done the social media challenges is we've decided what the challenge would be. This year, we are letting you do whatever you would like with the challenge. You can pick how many smiles, you can pick your goal of how many smiles you want to whiten, and then you can also pick what will happen if you reach that goal. So for example, this one would say, if we help us whiten 100 smiles with the proceeds to charity, and we will dress Dr. Basiri like a tooth fairy for a day. And then you can record a video of your doctor in a tooth fairy costume and put it on social media. And these do really well. People love seeing the culture of your practice. They love seeing these really fun videos as you reach your goal. Here's another example. Help us whiten 75 smiles, and we will pie Dr. Parker in the face. If you go to Dr. Parker's Facebook page, you'll see in the past he has done these fun videos where his whole team will pie him in the face because they reached a certain goal. And again, these are really fun for your patients to see. Last year, we created and recorded 2 parody songs for you to use to create lip sync videos to. And if you'd still like to use those and create a really fun video to promote Smiles for Life, those are available on crowncouncil.org on the Smiles for Life section that Greg talked about. You can download those 2 songs and create a little video. And it might even be what you tell your patients that you'll do if you reach a certain goal is you'll create and record a video and post it on your social media account. So this is a really fun opportunity for you to make a fun music video. We made one here at My Social Practice, and it was really fun for the culture of our business, and everybody got involved, and we had a lot of fun. The donation cards that we've provided for you each year are a good way to promote Smiles for Life inside of your office as people donate, whether it's by whitening their smile or just giving a cash donation. They can put their name on the wall, on a card, and put it on the wall. Many times it's good to put these donation cards around your goal poster that we've provided. Just create a place in your office where you can talk about Smiles for Life and show people your progress. There's also the handout cards. For this year, these you'll see in your box. We've included a sheet that says your address, and all we ask is that you confirm your address, and then order these cards from Greg, and we can send these out to you. On the back of the cards is the information about Smiles for Life, as well as your contact information for your practice and the local charity that you've decided on. We'll put that on the back of the card. So something good with these cards, you can put them on your front desk, hand them out in your practice, but also I would recommend that you take a stack of these cards to your local charity partner and have them handed out to people that come into their office. You could also take a poster, one of the posters, over to your charity partner for them to put on their wall so they can help promote Smiles for Life. We have fun t-shirts, sunglasses, and buttons that you can use for your social media accounts. The social signs are always a fun item to take photos for social media for your patients as well as your team, as well as the table tents to put inside of each treatment room to start the conversation about Smiles for Life. Here's some of the social signs that we've created. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the online materials. If you go to crowncouncil.org, again, on that Smiles for Life page, you can download all of the digital materials. There's some social media posts, graphics, the cover photos for your Facebook, for your Twitter accounts. But as well, I'll talk about a little bit later, we will be sending an email each week of more digital graphics and more ideas that you can use for your social media accounts. So be looking for that email. If you don't receive, the first one actually went out this morning. If you didn't receive that email, you can contact me or Greg and just make sure that you're subscribed to that list. Here's some of the social media post graphics that we've provided in that initial Dropbox folder for you to download. All right, now this is the part of the campaign that we're really excited about this year. We think that it's going to create a lot more awareness for Smiles for Life, and we're calling it our influencer campaign. So in the past, the only way for a brand or a business to really get their name out there through a public figure would be to pay someone like Shaquille O'Neal to get on TV or on the radio and tell everybody how much he loves Gold Bond deodorant, right? So that was how it always used to run with influential people. They would have to pay them a lot of money and then they'd get on TV. Well, times have changed. And with social media, there are millions of influencers across the world now that have created their own brand and their own audience on social media. So here, for example, is how Nordstrom has worked with some influential people that have built their own brand. And the people that follow these people are strong. They believe very strongly in the things that they post, and they take their recommendations very seriously. So these influencers are a lot more real than maybe someone like Shaquille O'Neal. They're someone that people can relate to, and so the things that they post are much more influential than maybe something that someone will see on TV. So here, for example, here's 4 influencers that have large following, things that they've posted from clothes that they've purchased in Nordstrom, and they talk about their clothes, and they tag Nordstrom in their posts. Just a few points of information about influencers. 1.5 million Instagram posts were tagged with the hashtag ad in 2017. So just to explain that quickly, when an influencer makes a post on their social media accounts and they're paid by a business to do that post, they're required by law to include the hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored in their post. And this just lets their followers know that they did a deal with a brand, and that's why they're posting this, so that there's no confusion and the things that they recommend. They just, even though they do recommend it, they need to tell their audience that it is something that they were paid for to do. Influencer marketing grew by 198% in 2017. Hashtag ad Instagram posts got 1 billion likes in 2017 with an average of 682 likes per post. Fashion and beauty are the leading industries for partnerships, and 83.9% of the hashtag ad posts were posted by women. So as you can see here, the fashion industry is really big with influencer type posts. And when we looked at these statistics, we thought, this is a great fit for smile whitening, and could be something that we could really use for the Smiles for Life campaign this year, because it has to do with beauty, whitening your smile, showing off your smile on social media. So if you kind of want to know how this works with dentistry, I've pulled up the example of Dr. Brian Harris, a Crown Council member. Many of you probably know Dr. Harris, but I would recommend that you go look at his Instagram account. And when you go to his Instagram account, click on, you'll see this red circle here on the very right. If you click on that icon there, it will bring you to a page that looks like this. Now, these are all posts that people have made and have tagged Dr. Harris in. So these are not Dr. Harris's posts. These are personal posts that people have made that have included Dr. Harris in the post. So I'll first go to this post here. This is by Kelsey Halls. Kelsey has 12.2 thousand followers on her Instagram. This is a brand that she's built for herself that she has quite a few followers on. So she went to Dr. Harris and she did 2 types of posts after going. It looks like he did a complete smile makeover for her and her husband. And you'll see there on the left, that's just an Instagram post that she made, and she tagged Dr. Harris. On the right is what's called an Instagram story. And you'll see she wrote his and hers new smiles, the greatest, and also tagged Dr. Harris in the post. So if you don't know about Instagram stories, they're basically not as permanent as an Instagram post. They last for 24 hours and then they disappear. But a lot of bloggers and a lot of Instagram users are starting to use stories a lot more and kind of post what's going on during their day and more frequently than just posts. So here's another post that was made that tagged Dr. Harris. This is Kendi Do. You'll see she has 37.2 thousand followers. And from her post, it looks like her husband, Dr. Harris did her husband's smile. And because you can see there that she tagged right on her husband's smile on the left there and the right. And you'll see in her comment, on her first photo, she had 2,848 likes on that photo. And in the caption section, she talked about first her photographer, but then also can't get over his smile at Dr. Harris. You did good. So you'll see how much influence that post had and exposed Dr. Harris's name. All right, and then it's the last one that I'll show. This is Janie Kaspari. And Janie doesn't have as many followers, but still a pretty big following. She has 6,869 followers. But she did this post of her before and after going to Dr. Harris, and wrote this really long post about how Dr. Harris has changed her life and how happy she is about, those are temporaries that she has in, but how happy she is to have this new look. She said, "I love the results, and these are just the temporaries. Can't imagine what the real deal is going to look like." A huge testimonial for Dr. Harris. And then you look down here, she had 56 comments. And if you look at some of the comments, "Can I ask how much they cost you? I'd kill for teeth that perfect. They look beyond amazing. He did a seriously incredible job. Can I ask how many you did? And if you did gum contour, thanks so much." So she created all this awareness for Dr. Harris. And then as people talked to her, she referred them to Dr. Harris, and he receives more patients that way. Something neat that Dr. Harris does as well is he reposts. Whenever anybody posts about him, he'll repost it on his Instagram account and just thank the patient for coming in and provide that feedback and that conversation back and forth. So one question might be is, how do you find influencers like this? And one thing you can do, if you just, in Instagram, if you just search your city and put blogger after it, so Minnesota blogger, Arizona blogger, Utah blogger, so your city or state, and a lot of posts will show up of people that blog in your local area. Now, this does take a lot of work to find bloggers and influential people that live close to you, and but there are a lot. So what we've decided to do for this year's campaign is find these people that would be willing to post about the Smiles for Life Foundation, about Smiles for Life, and these influencers that would be willing to go in to a participating office to get their teeth whitened for free, and in return do a post about the Smiles for Life Foundation. And also in that post, not only tag Smiles for Life, but also tag your practice. So you'll see here on this post, she would include at Smiles for Life Foundation, which is the Instagram account for Smiles for Life, at Miami Dental, which would be your practice's Instagram account, and hopefully you have an Instagram account that you've started so that they could recommend you and tag you. And then they would also include the hashtag Smiles for Life 2018. Now, they could also do a story, like I talked about. One thing with Instagram stories, they allow them to include a link in their story. So you'll see over here on the left, it says swipe up for details. So if they include a story and then someone watching the story, they can swipe up and it will go directly to the Smiles for Life page where they can search for a participating practice in their area. All they have to do is enter their zip code. and it will give them a list of participating practices in their area. So this year we have a full-time employee here at My Social Practice who is going to be working on finding influencers all over the country that would be willing to do this, that would be willing to go into your practice, get their teeth whitened for free, and then post on their social media accounts and tag Smiles for Life and tag your practice. So Ty is somewhat an influencer himself. He's a photographer. He's worked with influencers in the past, and he is full-time in our office right now and here to help you find these influencers. And what he's going to do is, once we find the influencer in your area, he'll send them a PDF that looks like this that explains the campaign, and at the top it says what we can do for you. And so he'll tell the influencer that they need to set up an appointment sometime between March through June with a participating Smiles for Life dentist and have their teeth whitened for free. And in return, this is what is required of them: to make 1 Instagram post and 2 Instagram stories. And in these details, it explains what they need to hashtag and a sample of what the caption needs to be, that they need to tag the practice, how long the post needs to stay up for, and so that they understand very clearly what's expected of them if they come in for a free whitening. Now, Ty will be not only reaching out to the influencers, but will also be reaching out to your practice to set the appointment. So if he finds someone in your area, he'll contact you and he'll say, he'll find a time that works best for you between March through June to have the influencer come in. And then he will also follow up with the influencer to make sure they made the post correctly. So you don't need to worry about all that part. We'll take care of it. All you need to worry about is donating your time to whiten their teeth for free. So here are some of the influencers that we have already committed. I'll just run through a few of them. You see this one here. This girl has 146,000 followers. This lady here has a wedding blog. She has 83.6 thousand followers, and she is committed to post on her account and to go into a local practice to get her teeth whitened. Here's another one with 47.1 thousand followers, and another with 42.3 thousand followers. And so in total, we actually have already committed about 60 of these bloggers, of these influencers, and we're finishing up setting up all the appointments now for the practices, and they have a combined reach, a combined following reach of about 3 million people. So it's pretty incredible how much exposure that we'll be able to get out of this even so far with only 60 committed influencers, and we want more. We want as many as we can. So what we'd ask of you is to think about your patient base and people in your area that you maybe follow on Instagram or you know that are influential, and email Ty at ty@smilesforlife.org of some of these names, and we would be happy to reach out to them and send them the PDF and see if they'd be interested in helping. If you already have a relationship with some of these people, then we can work out a way where maybe you can introduce Ty, or maybe you start the conversation. Whatever will work. We're happy to work with you to get these influencers into your office. All right. Greg's already talked about crowncouncil.org. We've put all the information there on the Giving tab, and be looking for a weekly email just to explain all the ideas. Each week, we're going to come up with new fun ideas for you to post to your accounts. We'll have blog content if you want to create a blog post, as well as social media graphics. So let me know if you didn't receive that email this morning. We'll make sure you're subscribed to that list. And here's my contact information. Just Blake at mysocialpractice.com. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. And that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blake. Can you hear me okay, Blake?
Yes.
Perfect. One question from the group here. Question is, do social influencers like this online influencers have as much influence on Facebook, or is it Instagram only?
Most of them, they have a stronger influence on Instagram. The way that Facebook works now is, they have a lot of algorithms and where they can't get their message out there as much unless they put money into it. And so Instagram is still kind of the main outlet, the main social media place for them, because they can reach more people that way. So it's mostly Instagram.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good.
By the way, Blake, that sound you can't hear is loud applause.
Oh,
from everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is, I mean, that is just awesome. Thank you.
Oh, we're really excited about it.
While we're on that, Blake, just to repeat, if you're trying to find the blogger influencers in your area, just do it. Just go onto Instagram, right? And you're just going to do hashtag Phoenix blogger, Arizona blogger, kind of your general area with a blogger, and a list will come up, correct?
Yeah, and that's one way to do it. I mean, some people that include that hashtag will show up in that area. There are many strategies of reaching out to bloggers, and we've actually signed up for an account called Upfluence, and it's a database of influencers all over the country that are willing to do deals like this. And so Ty is on that account and reaching out to different influencers that way. So there are a lot of different ways, but that was just kind of one really quick strategy of finding some in your area.
Good deal. Excellent. Thank you. And on behalf of everybody, thanks for everything that you and My Social Practice continues to donate to the Smiles for Life campaign. Huge resources there. So thanks for making that work.
Of course, it's our pleasure.
Got it. One other question here, Blake, just came up. Do they have to be fashion influencers? And the answer to that is no. Fashion is one of the areas where there's a lot of bloggers, but there's bloggers for just about everything. So they wouldn't necessarily just have to be fashion. Could be really anybody that's got to follow it. So.
Exactly. Yep.
So thank you for that. Greg, one quick question for you on the online Smiles for Life contribution form, and that is how it shows up on the patient's credit card statement. What shows up on when they donate with the online form?
It will show up as Smiles for Life Foundation with the Smiles for Life Foundation's phone number. So there will be no question that the contribution was made to the foundation and not to the doctor.
Perfect. Thanks for that. All right. So moving on, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes here to wrap up on some suggestions for real-time activity in the office when you get Smiles for Life patients that come in, and specifically those who are not existing patients in your practice, which we hope there will be an increasing number of these as you get out and work with your local charity, if you've chosen one, and get the word out that you'll have more and more people that will respond to the social media, that will come in that have never been in your practice before. So tip number one is that these people need to be treated just like a new patient. So Smiles for Life patients, if they've never been in your office before, will fill out new patient information, including their medical dental history form, all the new patient paperwork. They are considered legally, they are considered a patient in your practice, and you need to follow the same protocol in terms of having a medical dental history, have them fill out all the forms, et cetera, et cetera. So keep that in mind. That would also include what you do in terms of protocol for new patients as far as an exam. Now, this is a office by office decision. You may not want to do a complete and comprehensive examination, but there does need to be some determination of, whether they are a candidate for whitening. Obviously, somebody who hasn't been to the dentist in 20 years, if they come in, they might have some considerations before you get around to the whitening discussion. So there does need to be some kind of before you proceed. Next is to use what we call at the Total Patient Service Institute the permission statement. And that is, as you engage with the patient, if they're a new patient or never been in your practice, is to get their permission to share anything that would stand in the way of getting the ideal result for their whitening procedure. So when you do the exam, to do that, if when the doctor's going through that, to say, may I have your permission to share with you anything that I see that might stand in the way of you getting the ideal result for your whitening procedure. The other suggestion here is you're having that conversation is to find out what their interest is in whitening to begin with. In other words, to say what's your biggest interest in whitening, and what is the result that you want.
I want 3 kids to do the exact same thing, dropping them off for school.
So this is all about helping the patient get what the patient wants. So that's a verbal skill right there that you might consider using. So at least it gives you the opportunity to open up the conversation, if you need to, about other things that they might need to be aware of. Here's just a reminder. This is some research that was done by the University of North Carolina that says that the importance of compliments. And a compliment can come in a lot of different forms. A compliment can be something, just a thank you, a show of appreciation for their donation, how they've taken care of their teeth. I found this research fascinating, which basically says what they found is that a compliment, whether it's true or untrue, genuine or not, either one produces just as much liking. In other words, we crave the attention for compliments that even, and I don't suggest being phony, but just again, the importance of expressing appreciation for their coming in and participating in the campaign goes a long, long way. Next reminder is to ask, if the first time they've ever been in your practice, obviously be considerate of any dental relationship that they already have. A reminder that half of America does not go to the dentist on a regular basis. So anybody that comes in the first time, you got a 50-50 chance that they do not have an existing relationship with a dentist. And so don't be shy about inviting them to be a long-term patient in your practice. And it might be something as simple as, at the conclusion of the appointment, to say, Mrs. Jones, we hope you've had a great experience in our practice, and thank you again for your donation. We hope you love your white teeth and everything that does for you. And please know that you are welcome in our practice. We love to have patients just like you. And if you are looking for a long-term dental home, we hope that you will choose our practice. So let them know that this is not just a charity campaign, but yeah, you're interested in having them back. Now, if there are specific issues that come up dental-wise, for example, if there are issues that you identify, you might bring those up and say, has anybody ever talked to you about, the correlation between gum disease and overall, health-related issues? If you detect some of those things, or has anybody you're interested in whitening your teeth, has anybody talked to you about restoring some of these teeth that were chipped? You might ask them how long ago was it that these teeth were chipped. You just ask questions is the whole key to engagement, and engaging them in a conversation so that they understand you're concerned and you have the ability to help. So again, extend the invitation to them to return to your practice if it's appropriate. And if they already have an existing dentist that they go to on a regular basis, certainly compliment them on that, and let them know if there is ever a situation where you need somebody in a backup position, we are always here to serve you, and you're always invited to come back. So at a minimum, everybody should have that invitation before they leave. So in addition to that, what I would recommend is on the Crown Council website at crowncouncil.org, there's a training video in the Smiles for Life section that goes over how to interact with patients who come in for the Smiles for Life campaign. So I recommend you use that with your team, walk them through that as a reminder of the things that you can do. So in addition to that, if you have questions related to the Smiles for Life campaign, give us a call at the Crown Council, 1-800-CROWN-58, or you can shoot us an email at success@crowncouncil.com. So those are some tips that you can use that'll help you engage more cause-related marketing in your practice to create more happy paying patients. And if Smiles for Life is new to you, we hope that you will engage with us in the most successful cause-related marketing campaign in dentistry. Thanks for joining us today. This webinar has been recorded and will be posted on crowncouncil.org in the training section under webinars later today. We will send out an email to everyone who is registered with that link. If you have team members who are not able to watch today, you can watch it. You can watch the post-game show, watch it all over again to train your whole team. Thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to having you with us again at the next Crown Council webinar. This is Steve Anderson. And again, thanks, Blake Hadley, to you and the team at My Social Practice for all you do for Smiles for Life. Look forward to having you all join us for our next Crown Council webinar. Have a super day.